Okay, your final point in your 5-point model here is effectiveness.
Yeah, effectiveness grows off of the idea, the long-standing concept of efficiency. And efficiency is a fine concept. You say efficiency, what does that mean? It means you want to do things as quickly as you can and still have the appropriate level of quality. You want to make sure that there's minimal waste. You want to make sure that your output, however you're measuring it, let's just talk about sales per hour, day, or month. Efficiency is boosting those. Effectiveness takes that idea and it goes a little bit further. And it goes further in the sense, in the works of Peter Drucker, who I always have to mention on this because he did so much to really underscore, I think, everyone's understanding of what this really means in the business world, is such to say, you've got to make sure that you're doing the right things. And, here's an example. What if you're selling microprocessor subcomponents, and you say, with every order, we're going to send out a customized rubber duck, okay? And you get a process going where that some defense contractor orders their little microprocessor subcomponents, and then you've got your rubber duck thing, and you've got somebody hand lettering everyone's name, and you get it worked out where that you can get the duck lettered perfectly and shipped out.
Sounds like good buzz marketing.
The same day, you get them shipped out there. Well, guess what? Even though you found a good way to streamlining it, and you got a good supplier for your ducks, a low cost, doesn't matter. That wasn't an effective approach because your customers don't care about that offering. Now, if you were selling somebody a scarf, maybe they'd want that duck. I don't know. I'm just saying there are times when that would be the effective point to do. So that's what we're talking about. What we're talking about is how do your offerings actually help? And think about the needs, the wants, and the goals, stated and unstated, of your clientele. That effectiveness might be the idea that we're going to include a label inside the package that says if there's a problem with it, call this number first, or if you need return authorization, and you have it be right there, and you have it be ready if you know it's a product where the return issues. It could even be the point of including return packaging for something to say, hey, effectiveness might be that because we know that that's an issue. But I would say it really varies, and that's one of those things we really have to understand. What are people's needs and wants? What is stated and unstated? And consider how you can further those goals. So really, what I mean, and the easy way, and I know people who are watching might sometimes struggle with this versus a couple of the other concepts. Here's the way I would put it. Everyone should have a good idea of what efficiency is, right? Efficiency, you want to keep that machine running fast, keep the sales numbers high, keep the throughput, keep our costs low, and all that, right? Effectiveness is just making sure that all of that is aimed in the right direction. All I'm talking about, that you're working on the right things, that you're spending your time on things that actually matter, and that anything that you're doing, that kind of attaches itself onto that process between offering, options, product, sale, and the customer, that anything that you insert on there has a purpose. So that's why. So really, the thing that comes in is, hey, this is where most people are living every day. Most people I see have got some sort of a document right there with their sales figures, their pre-orders, their, whatever is going on. That's what they're doing. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm saying you're managing that, but make sure that you also step back and say, and that's the other thing too, is I think about high versus low margin business. I talked to somebody the other day who said, yeah, we've adopted this new thing. It's great. It's added 10% to our revenue. It's using 40% of our labor hours though. So there you have the idea that was not effective for them to be involved in that at all at that level. Say that offering didn't make sense.
Yeah. You said some things that stirred up two thoughts in my mind. One is back to Amazon again, how I actually had a problem with Amazon recently. Not with Amazon, but with somebody that was selling a product through Amazon. And I never got the product. And they said it had shipped, went to the tracking number, the whole thing, never got it. So I just went to the Amazon site and said, I never got this product, and they immediately refunded my money. No questions asked. That is certainly doing the right thing. And the other thing that triggered a thought as you were talking there was, I've got this other customer, and actually this is a problem with a number of people that I work with. They have a brick and mortar store, and they're trying to sell online as well. They want to reach beyond their local geography and sell across the country, across the world, whatever. And the whole efficiency aspect of now I've got to pull somebody out of the store to box up this product that got sold online and ship it out, and it takes a long time to do that. And it seems like just the model of an offline store and an online store and marrying those two together to truly make your business efficient. The whole aspect of a lot of these people are now trying to integrate their point of sale system with their online store because somebody orders something online, it pulls that out of the inventory, and that becomes a problem when those two systems aren't married together. For really large companies like a Walmart or something, it doesn't really make any difference because Walmart has a totally separate inventory of stuff that they sell online versus what they're selling in a store. But for a small retailer, that becomes an issue. And that whole efficiency of working together with the point of sale system, packing stuff up, becomes a problem.
Yeah, no, you know what, and here's the analogy I would give, and this is something in a world that I deal with a lot, which is in the restaurant world. Consider those restaurants, quick service in particular, that have drive-through and inside sit-down business. And you can almost view it as you have three ways to deal with it. One is you could say, well, we're going to have just whatever internal staff, and we're going to serve the people that come to the counter, and we're going to serve the people that come up through the drive-through, and we'll just bounce back and forth with no real rhyme or reason. And for really small operations, that can work fine. But if you ever have a line, not so much. The second level is where that you've got a little more kind of heavy use of your drive-through line, and you have to really focus on that to some degree. Now here's the thing, is that when you do that, and you'll see this in a lot of, say, burger restaurants, for example, they'll have someone with a headset on who's out there wiping tables down, who's taking orders while they're doing something else. So they've tried to kind of find a way to maximize the value per labor hour they get. It all depends, though. That's something you can't always just do. The third way is to really try to address those different needs separately. And you have a group of people serving the drive-through window and a group of people serving up front. And in some cases, you might even have a separate line, order line, of putting stuff together. And it's strictly based on volume. So I'd say there isn't one right way to do that sort of sequencing. But if you're talking about especially the online and physical business melding, make sure that someone is never going to feel like they made the wrong choice by using one versus the other. That you're supporting, that's the idea, that you should never have somebody say, and my analogy is, in the line inside the restaurant, 4 people deep, and they see 10 cars make it through the drive-through before those 4 people get served,
right.
Or be in the drive-through while it's sitting still while you see 20 people go in and out of the door. So you want to make sure that somebody can meet you any way that you've offered to them and feel that it was just as worthwhile. They didn't pick the less supported choice.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up, I think. Is there any final thoughts that you want to say on this whole concept of the 5 points that we've made here today?
Yeah, I would say that if you've got any sort of management, any sort of leadership involved in your organization, you really want to make sure that they understand the steps of this model. That this isn't just something, especially for an online store, I can imagine how the people might think, well, getting our site up to speed and going, we got to think of these things and put it in place. But I also think it's important, if you've got people either handling customer service issues, managing staff, they need to understand that sequence and say, we want to elevate flexibility above effectiveness, to say we want to bend over backwards for the customer. We want to elevate presentation to a high level so everyone feels like we're a professional operation. We want to elevate helpfulness above even that, and to help people understand that that's the goal. Because I know we've all, you call into a call center somewhere and they can either be good or bad or terrible at understanding what it is that might make someone call in, and you don't want to feel like a number when you do that. So I would say just consider the whole package, and anyone who deals with the public, anyone who's in leadership in that role, you want to get that service model ingrained in them, and then your online presence should meld with what's a company philosophy and this premium service model, rather than it just being a bunch of watchwords you use to set things up, and then it's anything goes after you run it.
Yeah. Awesome advice, and I just want to say thanks, David, for talking with me today. And maybe you can go ahead and give people your contact information. I'll give people my contact information if you've gotten any value out of this video.
Sure. Okay, well, hey, the easiest way to find me is davidnatalizia.com. I'll make sure that's in graphics on the screen here. But davidnatalizia.com, I've got a few different places you can go from there, depending if we're talking about the premium service world or about performance issues for restaurants, hotels, retail, and resorts. But always eager for feedback. And one of the things I love, too, based on some of the things we talked about, if anyone's got any questions or individual case studies saying, hey, what about in this situation or that? I love to turn those into Q&A, whether I do a little blog post or an article or something. So always eager for that at any time, by all means. Glad to have you reach out for that purpose.
Okay, awesome. And I can be reached at gregjameson.com. So that's pretty easy here with both of us with our names. And if you need any help with creating an e-commerce presence, I'd be happy to help you out with that. Thank you.